WHW draft. The rules of the draft: I will pick out 30 men for each team, Raw and SmackDown. In the comments, you guys will have to tell me which team is better, Raw or SmackDown. Let's get into it. The first draft pick is Randy Orton for Raw. The first draft pick for SmackDown is Kurt Angle. The second draft pick for Raw is Bo Dallas. The second draft pick for SmackDown is Finn Balor. The next draft pick for Raw is Ric Flair. And the next draft for SmackDown is Jey Uso. The fourth draft for Raw is Batista. The next draft for SmackDown is Jimmy Uso. The next draft for Raw is Drew McIntyre. The next draft pick for SmackDown is Goldberg. The next draft pick for Raw is Matt Hardy. The next draft pick for SmackDown is Cody Rhodes. The next draft pick for Raw is Ryback. The next draft pick for SmackDown is Jinder Mahal. The next draft pick for Raw is Jeff Hardy. The next draft pick for SmackDown is Sting. The next draft pick for Raw is Rey Mysterio. The next draft for SmackDown is Kofi Kingston. The next pick for Raw is Stone Cold Steve Austin. The next pick for SmackDown is Uncle Howdy. The next draft for Raw, is Seth freaking Rollins. The next pick for SmackDown is, what's his name? Crap. You guys should tell me his name in the comments. I just forgot his name. But he's the next SmackDown draft. The next draft pick for Raw is, crap. I keep forgetting. Dean Ambrose. So, I just remembered his name. It's Dolph Ziggler. My bad, I forgot his name. The next draft pick for SmackDown is Dirty Dominic Mysterio. The next draft pick for Raw is Roman Reigns. We brought back the Shield, guys. The next draft pick is Kevin Owens for Team SmackDown. The next draft pick for Raw is The Godfather. The next draft pick for SmackDown is Rikishi. The next draft pick for Raw is The Ultimate Warrior. The next draft pick for SmackDown is Chad Gable. The next draft pick for Raw is The Rock. The next draft pick for SmackDown is Elias. The next draft pick for Raw is Wade Barrett. The next draft pick for SmackDown is Lex Luger. The next draft pick for Raw is British Bulldog. The next draft pick for SmackDown is Dustin Rhodes. The next draft pick for Raw is George the Animal Steel. The next draft pick is for SmackDown, and it is Santino Marella. The next draft is for this midget, I don't know what his name is, for Raw. The next draft is for Hornswoggle going on to SmackDown. The next draft is Big Boss Man for Raw. The next draft goes to SmackDown for Sin Cara. The next draft pick is for X-Pac for Raw. The next draft pick is Diamond Dallas Page for Raw again. The next draft pick is R-Truth for SmackDown. The next draft pick is Sandman for SmackDown. The next draft pick is John Cena for Raw. The next draft is SmackDown Hulk Hogan. The next draft pick is for Raw as Triple H. The next draft pick is Kane for SmackDown. The next draft pick is for Brock Lesnar for Raw this time. The next draft pick is Undertaker for SmackDown. The next draft pick is Shawn Michaels for Raw. The next draft for SmackDown is Andre the Giant. The next draft pick is Braun Strowman for Raw. The next draft pick is Sami Zayn for Raw. The next person to be drafted is Rated R Superstar going on to SmackDown. The next person to be drafted is Shane McMahon for Raw. The next draft pick is Vince McMahon for Raw. By the way, everybody, I'm sorry for all my mess-ups. This is my first ever long video I've posted. Okay, everybody, this is Raw's team. Yup. So, that's Raw's team. This is SmackDown's team. So you guys let me know, who do you guys think won? And I'm very sorry for all the mess ups this video. It is my first long-term video.